All right, culinary students, we're going to learn how to use the broilers in our ovens so we can make our crostini this week. So very first thing you need to know is we do not want to preheat the oven when we use the broiler. There is no need to because it'll heat up just fine, quick enough, that direct heat all on its own. So do not turn the broiler on until you are absolutely ready to use it. So basically what will happen is you'll have your baking sheet of some kind that will have your crostini on it. You will have brushed it with oil, with butter, whichever one you're preferring to use. Once those are on your pan, that's when you can turn on the broiler. So if you look at the face of the oven and our buttons here, there is a button on the bottom right next to the baking button that we've been using this whole time that says broil. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and push that, and it's going to say 500 degrees. We're just going to go ahead and start it. Okay, so now I can see the oven is on. Remember, we're not preheating. It's actually already ready to go. So what we're going to do is we would take our pan and we're going to come down here inside of the oven. Now this is where I'm going to try to not give you motion sickness here. So I'm looking inside of the oven. Very first thing I want to look for is my oven rack up on one of the highest rungs that it can possibly go on? And so if I'm looking right here, I can see that, yep, it's up on one of the highest rungs. That's perfect, because these pieces right here, those are your heating elements, and that's what's going to get your crostini bread nice and toasted, so it'll be ready for those toppings. So what you would do then is you're just going to take your pan with your crostini on it, you're going to set it on the oven rack, okay, and then we're going to go ahead and shut the door just a little bit here, so we can try to keep some of that hot air in the oven to do the broiling. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to stay right here next to the oven, and I'm just going to be like kind of keeping an eye. See how I've got my door vented just a little bit here? I can peek to see what's happening with the crostini. And to be quite honest, this process of toasting up those little bits of bread, it's not going to take very long. It's just going to be a couple minutes. So please, please, please do not move away from your oven when you have your baguette bread in underneath the broiler, because like I said the day before, it's honestly going to go from looking like just plain bread and all of a sudden, whoa, it's toasted. So you want to keep an eye on it to make sure that we're getting it out of the oven as soon as we can, so it's not going to burn and char and just crumble to bits essentially. So once you have the pan in there and you're noticing, yeah, it's toasted, then you'll just open up the door, you'll take the pan out, you'll set it right up here on your stovetop. We're gonna flip those little pieces of bread over, pan goes back into the oven, door goes back like so, and you just keep an eye on it until it's toasted on the back side, okay? When you go to take your crostinis out, please, please, please make sure that you have oven mitts on. Ooh, now you can see it. Do you see the heating elements? Now they're glowing that bright red, and I can feel like this is really hot heat coming out already. So like I said before, this does not take preheating. It's not going to need that, okay? So you want to make sure you have oven mitts on, because your pan will be hot, your oven racks could be hot, and also we don't ever want to come in contact with those heating elements, because that's going to burn pretty bad. Remember, that's heating up to 500 degrees, which is yow. So you absolutely must pull this oven rack out to take the pan up and out of the oven. You cannot be reaching your oven mitted hands into the oven, because if your oven mitt touches the heating element, it's actually going to ignite and catch on fire. Don't believe me? I had it happen a couple years ago. I actually still have the oven mitt in the back if you need to see charred proof of, oh, there was a fire on this oven mitt at one time. Yeah, because things happen. There's a reason we talk about safety stuff. So you need to make sure you pull the oven rack out to lift the pan up and off of the rack. Do not, do not, do not reach into the oven with your oven mitts, or we're gonna have some big problems. So yeah, at that point, when your bread is toasted, you just take the pan out of the oven, you would shut the oven door, you just come back up to the top here, you just hit off cancel, and now your oven's shut off and you're ready for your toppings for your crostini.